can help you gain control over undesired behaviors or help you cope better with anxiety or pain. Hypnosis is also called hypnotherapy or hypnotic suggestion.
Ring-a-rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin City in the rare old time.
What country's capital is increasing most in the population due to the fucking...
Raised on songs and stories.
Why, it's Ireland. It's Dublin.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain, that was planted in my brain.
Good morning. 12 July 2025. Logic, sets, and numbers.
Restless dreams I walked away. Narrow streets of cobblestone.
I'm a self-proclaimed ascended master. Ascending. I say ascended because actually we're all ascended, but we're unaware.
Touch the sound of silence.
Sounds of silence.
And in the naked light I saw
Another New York pair of men.
10,000 people.
Simon, Paul, and Garfunkel. Art. So terms, words, lips, get down to 2 letters. We're going to get heavy today, class, so if you comprehend what I'm about to tell you, then I urge you to share it, because I'm not giving up. We need to wake up every human being that has an opportunity in this window. Even though intentions have been set, we still have an obligation and responsibility both to ourselves and to others. A new formula to repel. Deep woods, long-lasting protection from mosquitoes, ticks, fighting flies, gnats with a G, chiggers, and fleas. How many of you have had experience with a chigger? If you've been to Fort Bragg and gone through any kind of training, these pricks put it out in the woods, so you have to sleep in it, bivouac with them. That means sleep out in the woods. Off or not, the chiggers are going to dig in to your foxhole of a butt. And ticks, woo! They suck blood. Why do they need blood? Ask yourself. But that's besides the point. We're gonna review all these things on this page. But right now for you, as a fresh look, take a look at this and see what these words mean to you. Take a look at this and see what these words mean to you. There are a few phrases or terms that you may not be familiar with. So we'll come back to that. Now, to blow your mind and to set myself apart, your entertainment, and education. If you've been watching me, you know that everything's alive. Everything that has ever lived is in a moving evolution. Forever. That's why space is so vast. So please look at this. This is the date, August 8th at the upper left. Lionsgate portal upcoming. There are new moons and full moons and bullshit. We've got one on 23 August. A new moon in Virgo. Manny Pacquiao's getting ready to fight. As I record this, it's coming up in a matter of days. Today being 12 July. No possessions. Imagination. Imagination is eyes and ears. Technically, we humans had no imagination on Waldeck 800,000 years ago. We're test beds in development. So we had to learn how to live on a surface, blind and deaf, needing food with floating trees. What our exact body form was, hell, we might have been attached to the ground, but I'd say given evolution, we were probably able to move. Now, to augment the lack of imagination on Waldeck, technology evolved and came to us. Fidelity went up. Mark Zuckerberg, universal point of origin, Waldeck, like Kamala Harris and Billy Carson. So as the fidelity increased with technology, the augmentation of our non-organic capacity was supplemented with Google goggles and earplugs, earmuffs. Pick it any way you want. Let's say they got miniaturized and were Wi-Fi'd up. So you got to a point where you knew what was going on. But if you took those things off, back to Helen Keller land. So as time went on Waldeck, the day came when the fucking planet blew up from a nuclear explosion. It's now the Van Allen belt. Waldeck was inside of Jupiter. There are other constellations outside our solar system, but Waldeck was in our solar system. And it was detonated. Now with foresight and comprehension and support of our one true creator that doesn't want to lose humanity, the founders moved us in time. So we dropped down here to this surface prehistorically, and we were and are the missing link to the animal kingdom, having been introduced spiritually to wake up here as fully functional third density being. There are elements, there's cyclical life, and there's human life, and that's beyond. To go from third to fourth density, you just have to die inside through awareness and realize the capacity of your heart. I hope you comprehend this, because that's what I'm going to be talking about. A heavy term called, please keep looking at it. There are senses over here, 5 of them. Well, boys and girls, there's a 6th sense called prana. prana, mana, prana. That's what the Hebrews lived on in the desert. It came from heaven, water particle. How do I know this? Because there was a chaplain in the Civil War named Levi Dowling. He was a Union chaplain at the time of Lincoln. And that man was in meditation for a lot of time, every day, in addition to his duties. Like a monk. Levi Dowling. So he wrote one particular piece of work that his wife assembled for him called the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ. We're in the age of Aquarius Rising. We just left Pisces. Prince Philip was the last four-armed, two-armed, two-legged critter. We'll call him human, because our Creator must consider him human. And that bad boy jetted off to Mach 0647. Well, you know, they had astronomy and the clubs, and everybody merged, and telescopes. They shot off satellites. Radioactive shit was imaging. And so therefore, Philip, Prince from World War II, the husband of Elizabeth, self-proclaimed that he wanted to come back as a virus. He backed up in time 24 hours and got a running start, so when he tick-tocked out, he went as far as he could to Mach 0647. A real constellation. Look it up. So there's truth in diet. Here on Earth, in this day and age, we eat everything. Everything. And it eats us. It's a symbiotic relationship that's incorrect. We were taught incorrectly because the dark teachers taught us to teach the animals and train them to be very powerful forces that you better know how to deal with. So how the hell did we survive way back then with brand new bodies and eyes and ears and running like hell when the fire started and lightning struck and animals came at you? What was sex? How you supposed to reproduce? Bunch of cavemen hiding in caves. But the evolution is too slow. So from 800,000 to about 490, we were that. And then the Elohim said, we got to speed this show up. So at Lake Van in Armenia, not Arcadia, Armenia, Turkey, that area. There's a lake called Lake Van, named after the guy that presided over the events that occurred over centuries. I don't believe that he was one, but I don't know. There were 69 male Neanderthals and 69 females that were present. So the Elohim had a meeting. Everybody stopped. And he said, you 138, come on, you got what it takes. And they walked into them, took over their right brains. They reversed age to 27, and they thought for millennia. That's the right word. Thousands and thousands of years, from 490 to, I guess, 180. And 5,000 years ago, voluntary learning occurred as a means of progress. Pyramids not been constructed yet. Sphinx was there. So imagine yourself alive back then. Successful, you got a big farm, neighborhood, hectares, everything's good. So Mauritania, Kenya, up Mediterranean vicinity, but Africa. That's where the recruiting occurred, because they went in from the sink. 13 individuals. I suppose they didn't need any more. The 13 went down through the immense sphere that was in place and dropped down into Agartha, 800 miles down. So 400 is the halfway point for purposes of measurement. It's windows. You know, if you look at the way the map was drawn by Admiral Byrd, they did a tremendously good job of showing you the significant access points to get to inner Earth. But they don't have Sagada in the Philippines on there, and they know that goes way the hell down. Maybe you walk along something when you get to a certain point to get to the next shaft. It's all throughout our planet. But see, in this day and age, on the news and what we're taught in school tell us that there's magma down there, it's burning, it's hell. Come on, it's not hell, there is no hell. Now there's probably pockets of fire and pressure and things going on, but our planet's alive, our name's Gaia. So it is said that after Yeshua passed, he descended into hell and then went up, he was gone for 3 days. I'm sure he made an appearance in Agartha to get that knocked out. The guy, back to Levi Dowling, he had walked the surface, he was out east in Egypt, straightened out the Abrahamic priests, one step ahead of them, counseled Ra in Persia, got run out of there, always one step ahead. Then he was baptized, and John gave his head up for him. And the first thing he did, Yeshua, after the baptism was go to the desert and meditate. And if you go to SAALM and Lord Marduk on the internet, you'll see that Michael Sala's linked there also. And he's currently a provider on YouTube. So there's logic. There's dimensions which are measurements. Go back to my page. A box is length, height, and width. Add time. So that's the 4 basic dimensions. But we use the term 3D this day and age. So what's the 5th dimension? Dimensions your measurements. What is it? Well, if you got height, width, and length and time figured out, the 5th dimension is shit that's going on in space and under space, and it's a 5D state of being. But you see, we vote in secret here, so people don't know. Then add the telephone game, like you played in school, where you whisper the story to the kid, he turns and whispers it, and before you know it, it's completely dorked up. That's thought form influence. TV episodes, come on, there's light and dark. You have to discern. You have to use intuition. There's cycles of ages, and there's recycling, rebirth. A verse is a note in music. Morning. So the 6th dimension holds everything together. There you go, walking. In unison. You're not in step though. I guess I must be loud because they actually acknowledged that I was here. I should go follow them, but that wouldn't be right. Nope. About 100 yards up, there's a traffic circle. Maybe they'll do a lap and head back. I don't know. This neighborhood is pretty cool. You get where you need to go. So inside, outside. You want to be left alone? We're at that too. Understand. Understand. If you understand, it's going to drop on you. So understand. Stand with. Preposition. Like water. Into, through. First density, 6th octave. We're not primarily discussing densities this morning. So having covered this in a relatively decent summary, we're going to continue inside and watch some videos by the guy who thought up cognitive dissonance. Look at his name. The oldest movies start with intentional lies. You'll see. But then other versions of cognitive dissonance discuss it in different formats. So it's a very, as far as terms go, I mean, if you say belief system, you're okay. But it's the belief system that's constantly being tested. And then you have to work through it. And that's where the failure comes. Because of people's overall system, in order to function outside a rubber room, they have to keep it together. And guess what? The sixth dimension is lambda. It's a very, 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 very low frequency. It's immeasurable. And it holds everything together. How the hell do you think one rock looks different than another? Another thing you take for granted. Okay, so this is Jackson Brown. Greater awakening.
I've been aware of the time going by.
Aware of the time.
They say in the end, it's the wink of an eye.
Kenny Chesney talked about that.
One light comes streaming in. Get up and do it again.
Ramen. You like ramen? Raw. 1100, baby. Alright, let's go watch the video, shall we? Time for a beheading. Cut!
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message.
Yo, Santa, it's Jason. Just wanted to say, last year's tune, absolutely epic. Thanks, man. You're a living legend. So here's the deal. I've been practicing my guitar licks all year. Arpeggios, string skipping, tapping, you name it. Are you ready to crank up our jam this year? I mean, come on. We've got to keep the Christmas rock alive.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas!
You know Christmas is really 9/11. That's a separate thought, form, influence. This is a fifth-dimensional rethink. The box plus time, height, width, and length.
This is I'm beginning to shred a lot like Santa by Cognitive Dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. How do I look? Does that taste good? What did you hear? You like a tip? A George Washington, who was Barbara Bush in a later life. Coke. First of all, he really did what he did. Okay? Don't forget that. So put that in perspective about who we are, because he did it for us. He didn't come here to die for your sins. So it's belief systems. There's me in a prior life. Read the words on this cover. Now we're going to get into some presentations later in the briefing. Get ready.
Hypnosis can help you gain control over undesired behaviors or help you cope better with anxiety or pain. Hypnosis is also called hypnotherapy or hypnotic suggestion.
Ring a rosy, as the light declines, I remember Dublin City in the rare old time.
What country's capital is increasing most in the population due to the fucking...
Raised on songs and stories.
Why, it's Ireland. It's Dublin.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Okay, it's time for the closing segment. Done a lot of talking. Pulse. And a few words for the pups of the pulse. My father and his friends actually knew George Carlin because he's from the Bronx. And he's known by our belief system to be profound. So what does he know and how does he know it? Dirty words. The back of your mind. So we're going to go in chronological order here from the inventor. There's a joke and the punchline is, patience, my little ass.
End, however, when a decision has been made. The act of making a decision can trigger a flood of other processes. According to psychologist Leon Festinger, whenever we choose to do something that conflicts with our prior beliefs, feelings, or values, a state of cognitive dissonance is created in us. A tension between what we think and what we do. When this tension makes us uncomfortable enough, we're motivated to reduce it in a number of ways. We may change the way we think about the decision, or try to change how others think about it so that they can support our decision. Or we may change some aspect of our behavior so that our decision seems more in character with us. In other words, we try to reduce the dissonance between how we think we should act and how we actually act by changing one or the other. In the mid-50s, Leon Festinger and his colleague Merrill Carl-Smith conducted a classic experiment in which students were engaged in very boring tasks. Students were then given a request by one of Festinger's staff.
Okay, that's fine. Let me tell you now what we're actually studying here. It's the effect of preparatory mental set on performance. The rest of the subjects are prepared by being told that the experiment will be very interesting.
Beaver Cleaver variant.
Lots of fun. Now I have a somewhat unusual request to make of you. The next subject is waiting right outside, but the fellow who ordinarily gives the spiel isn't here. I wonder if you could possibly take his place. As a matter of fact, we figure we'll be needing someone in the future, so I'd like to offer you a $20 retainer and have you remain on call for us. Would that be all right?
$20? That'd be fine. Half the students were randomly assigned to the group that received $20.
So the exercise was very boring. It really had no purpose.
Given only $1 for lying.
$1 as a sort of a retainer and have you remain on call with us. Would that be all right with you?
Yes, that'll be all right.
Now this is the guy that came up with this theory, and these people are not acting.
The experiment was in fact boring, and $1 was insufficient reward for lying. Many of the $1 subjects actually convinced themselves that the experiment was fun after they made their decision.
Well, this is controlled.
Between their prior beliefs and their behavior.
And it's inside of them.
A big lie for a small incentive.
So this is a test in a controlled environment. Now let it outside and go walking around. Bush did 9/11. It's actually a 6-day week. I mean,
The
I'm out
20
there,
subjects,
but
on
that's
the
the
other hand,
truth.
Felt no dissonance.
20
They
months,
felt comfortable
5
in
lazy
line,
days in
just
September.
for
That's where
pretty
we're
good.
going.
And,
The ones that are going to be here.
Everything I could to get out of it.
Yeshua rose from the dead. He never died.
Perhaps it's a different experiment because this was a lot of fun. It appeared to me as if it were a puzzle. We had to turn these knobs, and I tried to figure out what we were doing it for, but
Listen
I
to
really
him.
couldn't figure it out. I still have better luck. Other theories might predict that the man who is paid most
There's the man.
would have the highest motivations for enthusing over the dull task and would be
Enthusing.
most sold on it himself.
Curb
Cognitive dissonance
your
leads
enthusiasm.
to an exactly opposite prediction.
Okay, you get the idea with this one. Now we'll watch a more contemporary version from
But
a
he also knows
fairly
that
smart
he
guy.
has sufficient
Crank up our chant this year? I mean, come on. We've got to keep the Christmas rock alive.
So right there is some current intel for you. Trump's going down. Everybody knows it, I hope. These people are hypnotized. He's a Trump zombie over there on the left. We're not going to watch it, though. We're going to get into the more contemporary version of what's going on. This is good. You can cruise down what I've recently viewed. Here's George. All right, here we go.
With USAA Safe Pilot, I can save when I drive safely.
With USAA Safe Pilot Miles, I can save when I drive less.
I can save on scenic drives.
USAA, they're not bad. I'm going to leave that in. Now, here we go.
Chances are good that you've heard of something called cognitive dissonance. It's a term that's starting to get thrown around a lot these days.
Now,
But you might
recall
not
the
know
black
that
and
it has
white.
a really deep root in classic social psychology. In 1957, Leon Festinger wrote a book on the theory of cognitive dissonance and outlined a really detailed understanding of what cognitive dissonance is and how people deal with it. Let's start out by talking about what cognitive
Height,
dissonance
width,
is. How
length,
would we
it's your
define it? At the very
left
basics,
brain
cognitive
box,
dissonance is about
logically,
inconsistency.
reasonably
When
inconsistent.
we hold two thoughts that are inconsistent with one another, basically, that's dissonance. So let's take the example of someone who smokes cigarettes. Here's a person who might have two distinct thoughts, one of which is, I regularly smoke cigarettes.
These are the poison
The other of
cigarettes
which
that
is
they
the knowledge
developed
that
over
smoking cigarettes is
centuries
unhealthy.
in America.
Here are two thoughts that a person can be having at the same time.
Just go up
acknowledging both of
I-95.
these things as fact.
They tax
but
them.
They would seem inconsistent with one another.
A cigarette
If you know that
costs
smoking
like
is bad, then
a
logically
freaking
you probably wouldn't be engaging
75
in that
cents.
activity yourself. And so this is a case of dissonance because there's inconsistency.
They used to be
in
40
your own
cents a
thoughts.
pack. The
So
poison
what do
was
people
tons
do
of
when they
brands.
experience
You could
cognitive
walk up to a
dissonance?
vending
Well, there are a few
machine and
ways
there
in
were
which Festinger
fucking
said that
30
you could
brands. You
resolve
pulled
the
it, put in your money,
as a way of
out it
resolving
came.
the dissonance. First, you can change
The kid
one
was
of
fast.
those
He could get
thoughts.
cigarettes.
So in the case of the smoker who realizes that smoking is bad and also that he is a regular smoker, he might change one of those beliefs and go, smoking's not that bad. It's actually not unhealthy to smoke. That would
So,
be changing
you
one
know,
of
it's
your cognitions, one of your
preconditions because there are
thoughts,
those
as a
people
way
that
of
smoke
restoring
their whole
consistency.
lives and don't
Another
get
thing
lung
you can do
cancer.
is change your behavior
Smoking
as a way to
carcinogenic
restore
cigarettes
consistency. So in this case,
may
the
have
smoker might
secondary
say,
effects
well,
and
if I
cancer
acknowledge that
manifests,
smoking is
but
bad,
direct lung
then
cancer
the way
from
I can be
smoking.
consistent
I
is
personally
to
know a
stop
man
smoking. So changing one of the
who had all forms
behaviors
of cancer,
that's
but
related
not
to
caused by
inconsistency.
cigarettes, according
Another
to
thing
him
people can
and the
do is
doctors
to
who told
add
him
new
what happened to
thoughts
him.
into the mix. Thoughts
Skin
that help
cancer, he
rationalize
did have
the inconsistency.
stuff in his lungs,
So
but
someone
it
might
was
say,
a result of the earlier
yes, smoking is bad. Yes, I smoke
carcinogenic
regularly, but also I do a lot
surface
of
level
other healthy behaviors. I eat a lot of fruits and
infectations.
vegetables, and I exercise a lot. So I'm adding new thoughts
Yeah,
as a way to
so-
reduce the problem of inconsistency. And finally, people can just trivialize
Another way of quitting
inconsistency
smoking would
completely.
be
They can just
convincing
say, you know what,
yourself,
sure,
hey, I'm going
smoking's
to
bad,
live a
and I
clean
smoke,
life,
but
and if I
just
smoke,
don't
I'm
care.
stepping
That's
backwards.
going to be it. That's not
But
what
I
it is
smoke
big deal,
again
as
because
people say they
natural
do.
cigarettes
That would
are
be another
actually
way
good
of
for you.
resolving dissonance.
So I'm
That's tobacco.
reaching
But
for
why do
you
people feel like they
on
need to
where we
resolve
are
anything
in
at
the
all?
fifth
What's the big
dimension
deal
in the
about
golden
dissonance?
age
Well,
where
some people
tobacco
say that
is
dissonance
good,
just gets
it grows
in
from
the
the
way of finding
ground.
some sense of truth. In general, if
You
we
just
want
heard
to
it.
understand the world, then we want a clear, consistent picture of it. And when anything that makes us feel
Doesn't mean that you
inconsistency
have to
is
smoke
something that's a
cigarettes.
problem.
Well,
We're motivated to restore
it
consistency
reverses
again.
dementia.
But most of the research in dissonance has looked at something a little bit different. And that idea is that it's physically
nicotine.
uncomfortable to experience cognitive
The
dissonance.
Surgeon General
There's
warns
actually
against
some
it
negative
in
physical
our
tension that you
belief
feel
system.
anytime you recognize two inconsistent thoughts or realize that you've
Smoke on the
done
water,
something through
fire
your
in the
behavior
sky,
that contradicts
deep
your true
purple.
attitudes and beliefs. And so lots of studies have shown that this is the case by hooking up different sensors to people or tricking them into thinking that some pill makes
Left
them feel
brain
uncomfortable
versus
when in
right
fact
brain.
just their
What's going on?
inconsistent thoughts is what's doing it. All of this research you can find more about in my blog post on this topic, but suffice it to say that for the most part, when you feel cognitive dissonance, you're feeling actual physical discomfort. You're feeling inner discomfort as well. And anytime we feel bad,
Now, if you're
we wanna
unaware,
feel better. And to feel better, we just find a way
you're
to be
stuck
consistent.
in
Again,
the
that's
box.
the driving force behind cognitive dissonance. It's worth pointing out that there are a couple times
have you
when
seen the
dissonance
Bob
is
Newhart video?
especially
Okay, so
likely
you get
to
a good idea
motivate
from our man
this
here.
action to resolve the
Brilliant.
inconsistency.
There
One
he
of
is.
them is the perception that you had some choice over the inconsistency.
Andy Luttrell.
So sometimes in cognitive dissonance studies,
So,
what they'll have people
he's
do
worthy.
is agree to write some essay.
Now, have you
arguing
seen the Bob
against their
Newhart
own beliefs. So if you don't believe that your school
segment?
should raise
He's
tuition,
with a lady
if you
from
agree to write an article
Mad
saying that your
TV.
school should increase
It's a
tuition,
skit.
then that would be a case of dissonance.
All right, so in this Bob Newhart skit, he's a psychiatrist. He washes his hands all the time, and he sits down and she sits down, and her problem is she has dreams where she's stuck in a box. Probably from past life burials, but they don't say that in the video. So Bob's response after hearing all this was, well, I boil it down to a couple of words. Oh, and she grabs her notebook. No, you don't have to write them down. It's 2 words. Sometimes people don't get it. And then he pregnant pauses and goes, stop it! And she gets all stunned and she doesn't get it. So that's how life is. So let's have peace and watch a fight. Love and light, brothers and sisters. Billy the Kid, out.
Peter Thiel is a renowned entrepreneur and investor known for his contributions to the tech industry. One of his notable achievements is co-founding PayPal, the popular online payment system. He also played a significant role in the early growth of Facebook, where he was the first outside investor and served on the board of directors.
There was an incredible felt sense among all the top CEOs I know in Silicon Valley that there's all the stuff you can't talk about. There are things they tell me behind closed doors that are very different from what they feel they can say in public. The gap felt really, really big for a number of years. One of the bigger tech companies, their version was, you had the most woke
Alphabet
in San Francisco, and so they were going to move a certain percentage of their people out of San Francisco every year. That was the plan, and then
that's where InQtel is.
So
Zuckerberg took off from MySpace there.
And not
time
inside,
space
not inside the
continuum.
company.
Fidelity, man. All right, let's pick and roll
There was an
into the
incredible
bird.
felt sense among all the top.
Like if someone says, who's the most skillful guard,
Pistol.
it's either right now Kyrie or Pistol Pete. Somebody that was about 6'6", 6'7", handle the ball.
All right, we got him. Let's do Larry.
The pick and roll, I got Kevin and Danny. Danny's defensive man, Kevin's offensive man. I got so many options off the pick and roll that's
Robert
ran.
Parrish.
Right.
Danny.
I got Kevin coming over.
Danny's a
set good hard
BYU
pick
guy.
on Danny. I'm gonna fake baseline, take a couple dribbles. If Robert follows me out, so I don't shoot
This
the jump
man
shot,
is a
I got
basketball
Kevin with Danny on his back,
genius.
and all I have to do is lead him
As
to the
you'll
basket with
see.
the ball.
Incredible mind.
The pick and roll.
Pick.
I got Kevin and Danny. Danny's defensive man, Kevin's
Pick your
offensive
nose.
man.
After the ringing of the bell, Neva's corner didn't want to go to jail for malpractice, so they rightfully decided their fighter had taken enough punishment.
Over. All right, peace.